Welcome everyone. Welcome to RPGamer. We are trying something new out. I've come up with a game called RPG Survivor Island, and I've got some contestants with me. I am Scar, and along the ride I have Herfrog.
Yo.
JC Servant.
Salutations.
And the mighty Anime Man, or Tam.
Who is muted?
Oh.
He was there a second ago.
Yep. Well, Tam's here.
Yes. Hello. Sorry, I forgot I have push to talk.
All right. Hopefully this is gonna be a fun time. I've come up with this little game, and we've got some rules. So welcome to RPG Survivor Island, hosted by RPGamer, a place where only the bravest of RPGs wish to reside. The game, weed out all the weak and find out which RPGs can survive multiple rounds and earn a spot in infamy. All right, the rules. Each contestant's going to bring 10 RPGs to the island. It doesn't have to be your favorite or the greatest of RPGs, just 10 RPGs. Any 10 RPGs that we wanted to bring along to this island were allowed. Each game will earn a spot on the island, but this game involves rounds. And each round, each contestant must eliminate one game, and that game is tossed off the island, and it's deemed unfit to live there. And we're going to be taking turns until only 10 games remain. There is one catch. If a game is removed that you feel should remain on RPG Island, each player is allowed one saving throw, meaning if a game that you don't want to see eliminated gets eliminated, you can save that game, and it'll stay on the island, and that person that tried to vote the island off, that game off the island, will not be able to vote that game off moving forward. So someone else would have to eliminate it. But everyone only gets one save. So choose your game wisely.
Or not.
Right. There are no rules. There are no rules to this game. This game. You can vote a game off based off it's not one of your favorites. You've never played it. You're jealous of its success. You don't like its graphics. The music annoys you. Whatever.
It's old.
It's old. The old Wild West style. It's
My favorite one that totally won't start arguments. I really don't think that's an RPG.
Yeah.
Okay, I will get Quake off my list.
Oh.
So the only rule is don't be salty if your favorite game is eliminated, and that's it. I will now present. If all my images wanted to load. Oh, okay. Well, they definitely didn't want to load. Wonderful. Looks like all of JCS's images didn't save for some reason. Why did that happen? Oh, they were just on a second ago. Hold on.
Maybe reload the webpage? Would that help?
Maybe. Luckily, I took a pic. There we go. Reload for the win. All right. So, in no particular order, we've got Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy IX, Shining Force 2, Final Fantasy VI, Planescape Torment, Suikoden 2, Gothic 1, Dark Souls 1, Pokemon Gold, and Persona 4. That list was provided by Mr. Herfrog.
Yes.
And JCS's list is Wizardry 8, Hand of Fate 2, Borderlands 3, Kingdom of Amalur, Shadowrun Dragonfall, Troubleshooter, Shadowrun Hong Kong, Kotar, which is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Wasteland 2, and Fell Seal. My own list is Borderlands, Oblivion, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, Jeanne d'Arc, or d'Arc, not sure how you actually pronounce that, Persona 3, Lufia 1, Wild Arms 5, Tales of Destiny, Ogre Battle 64, and Mass Effect 2. And last but not least, is Tam's list of Cyberpunk 2077, Robotrek, Beyond the Beyond, Nostalgia, Final Fantasy XIV, Super Robot Wars Original Generation, Disgaea 4, Dragon Quest XI, Secret of the Silver Blades, and Baldur's Gate. So we've got 40 RPGs on this island, but only 10 can survive. Does everyone understand the rules and is ready to go?
Sounds good.
Let's do this.
I'm ready.
All right, Herfrog, we're going in alphabetical order, so you, my friend, get you get the first pick.
I get first pick. Oh. Well, let's create a nice raft and put Cyberpunk 2077 on.
Oh, Cyberpunk! All right, well, we're gonna toss them off. Bye bye. And the first elimination has been.
I don't know if Tam wanted to save that one.
Tam, did you want to save that one?
No, I was actually expecting that one to be a very early yeet.
And a very quick yeet it was. All right.
Yeah, it's
That-
broke.
I actually thought one of the other ones on my list was going to be the first yeet, and I'm a little surprised.
Well, we who knows? All right, JCS, you are next, my friend.
Well, I'm kind of looking at, that cute little yellow fuzzy creature over there that throws lightning bolts out at people. It offends me. I want it gone. Let's get rid of Pokemon Gold.
Pokemon Gold. All right, I've got it grabbed. Herfrog.
Why do you hurt me like that?
The older Pokemon games, I know they got this big hole in people's hearts and stuff, but every time I got talked into playing one of those, and I put like 10, 20 hours into it, it's just too simple. It's too boring. Can't do it.
All right, yeet. Off the island you go.
Herfrog will remember this. I would like to say that Pokemon Gold got a separate raft, share a raft with Cyberpunk. It's not that kind of game.
All right. I think I upped the volumes for everyone. Hopefully that's a little bit better. All right, I am up next. So I'm going to eliminate Secret of the Silver Blades. I'm not familiar with the game. It's a D&D game. Seems old. Probably not fit to be on this island.
It is old. It's part of what is known as the Gold Box, which was a very standard gaming system for a while there in the 80s and early 90s.
Ah.
Well, so the theme right now is get rid of anything gold.
Yeah. We don't want gold on this island.
I'd be a little worried. I'd be a little nervous right now if I was Tales of Destiny's Borderlands 3 or Wasteland 2, because those boxes are looking awfully yellow from here.
Right.
Indeed, things that are gold or win gold too fast. Right, Cyberpunk?
All right. So no objections. Silver Blades is gone. Tam, it is your turn. Make your selection, please.
I've played a lot of the game. I've actually played I think everything on here except for most of JC's list.
Uh-oh.
And Planescape Torment, but I'm going to yeet off Kingdoms of Amalur because that game was not that fun. I like the game itself was fun, but man, it was boring.
You said something earlier on the podcast. You were saying something along the lines of, I don't play this game, the Super Robot Wars, right? You don't play the game for the story, you play for the big robots. You don't play Kingdoms of Amalur for its deep lore and fascinating character development. You play it because the combat system is so cool, and right when you start getting bored of it, you switch weapons, and it's a whole new experience because there's no penalty for respecing it all. So that would be the argument there, but it's your choice. I respect it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to yeet it just because I think it shouldn't go the distance.
All right. Any objections? I also wanted to point out, if someone wanted to make a saving throw on someone else's game, like another person's list, you are more than willing to do that. That is acceptable.
Rules are changing.
He never stated that in the rules.
You can save any game once as long.
It had to be your game.
It still counts as the one save though. So does anyone want to save Kingdoms of Amalur?
Okay, now we're little playing strategy games at the moment. No, I absolutely don't want to know, because when I played it, I liked it, but it was a little bit too MMO-y for me.
All right, so that is the first 4 eliminations. We said goodbye to Cyberpunk, Pokemon Gold, Secret of the Silver Blades, and Kingdom of Amalur. So those games are not making the cut. Herfrog, the floor is yours.
I want to do a bold one, just something that might create a little bit of a discussion. Persona 3.
Ooh, Persona 3.
Yeah, I like Persona 3. I have Persona 4 on my island, and I want to keep that one. Persona 3. I like Persona 3. I was really like, don't want to put Persona 2 or Persona 4 on my list, because I like Persona 2 better than Persona 3. Persona 3, every single character hated your guts. They were just not nice towards you. Like every time when I want to go into Tartarus, no, I really can't. My parrot is in the oven, or they all had excuses. So Persona 3, get on the ship, get out.
Get on the ship. Get on this ship and sail away. Herfrog says.
I will say something to its defense before it sails off.
Oh! It's right here on the shore. It's about to get booted.
As I'm waving it goodbye, I'm saying, we're supposed to say nice things before something, before we send something away. So one of the few games that I beat, everyone knows me, I'm a polygamist, I don't beat too many games, I beat that one. And I actually like it more than 4 for one big reason, more than any other, is I like the characters in 4, so I agree with you on the characters, but I like 3 better because it knew when to be done. 4 just drug out that ending, and I just want to throw myself off a bridge, but I knew I needed to beat it.
Yeah, especially if you also play Golden.
Yeah.
If you also play Golden, then it's like, let's have another extra month in there.
Yeah, that was probably my mistake, was playing Golden there. But it did look really nice on my Vita with the OLED screen.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like everyone's gonna save Persona 3, so that gets the boot, and that means, JC Servant, it is your turn.
Alrighty. We can argue all day how to pronounce the name of this particular title, but all that matters is that I hate its existence, and I don't want it anywhere on the same island with me. Let's send that French lady off. Tell her bon voyage.
Oh no. Oh no.
Bon voyage.
My problem with this game, I love tactical RPGs, and I have
Burning
taken
at the
3
stake.
stabs at this. And I know people love it, and that's why it keeps making me go back to it. But every time I do, I inevitably hit some brick wall, and I don't know if I just suck at tactical RPGs or I miss some memo or something, but I keep hitting a wall where my party just gets killed and creamed like a dozen or so hours in, and now I hate it.
I enjoyed the game on the PSP. But
it's a fun game, but I'm going to agree with JCS on this, where it definitely had difficulty spikes, and some of the systems were not very well explained.
I like the characters and the idea. I love reimagining history. I loved that, but yeah, it just Shadow Hearts. That was a cool one, right? Reimagining history and stuff. The Shadow Hearts games. Yeah.
Well, we just lost our French audience. Thanks.
All right, it is now my turn, and there's 2 games of this series on the island, but I think that there's one clearly superior game. So I'm saying you get the boot. Borderlands 3.
I have no comment since I haven't we're playing Borderlands 2 now, so we can play Borderlands 3 later. Because my experience with Borderlands is lacking.
What's sad is if since Scar's preempting me with this, I was actually going to do that same move, my next move here.
Nice.
Only because without Borderlands, you can't have Borderlands 3.
Do you want me to save this game so you can then boot it off afterwards?
Yeah.
Thinking.
Because no, I'm not going to use it on Borderlands.
I will say before, let's say something nice before we send on a bon voyage. I know it's often, when I hear people talk about Borderlands trilogy, it is often, kind of a little bit of a disappointment because, when you talk about the antagonist in the story, it's a little bit of a step down. I don't know if anyone can compare with Handsome Jack. But I will say, from spending many hours talking about this, especially with some of the hardcore audience members and stuff, they'll still tell you it's a fantastic game, and the gunplay and the variety of guns still makes the experience worth it. Probably not worth a spot on the island, but still something to look at if you're a fan of those, Borderlands games. Don't just dismiss it like we're about to do, because that's what we do on the island.
That's right. No time for the weak. All right, Tam, your turn.
Oh, that puts me in a difficult spot right now. Oh. Well, we all know that I'm not really much of a Western RPG player. So I am going to say boot out. Especially since going to JC's, going to Scar's just mentioned, we have two different games in this series on here. I'm going to say we boot out Shadowrun Hong Kong, because we have two Shadowruns in here.
All right. Yeah, we do. We do have two Shadowruns. So Hong Kong gets the boot first. Any objections?
No, I'll mention, since it's my game on here and I talk a lot. I'll mention that, so the games that I chose for my list, because I was in a time crunch, sorry I couldn't be more creative, I actually kind of cheated and used the list that the RPG Experience Club that we have at RPGamer chose. We voted for the 12 best RPGs to play through for the next 16 months, and I just took a couple off the list, including one of the other Shadowrun games was one of the two I took off.
Yep.
Shadowrun Hong Kong and Shadowrun Dragonfall are the one that I took off, the first one, Dragonfall Returns. Shadowrun Returns is considered to be the weakest. Hong Kong, and I can't remember which one's better out of the two, but these are both considered to be really great tactical RPGs with really good stories that really bring you back to some of the old days of role playing and console role playing, and does it in a setting that feels relatively unique, right, and different, because we're usually playing either dystopian wasteland games or high fantasy settings. So I highly recommend people go and check these guys out if they did it. You can usually get them on sale pretty cheap.
Yep, they are pretty cheap, and I am going to try my best to join the RPGX experience and play these games along with you guys when it's their turn to shine.
Didn't GOG just have one of them up for free like the other week?
Yeah, they had them all. All of them were free.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got that bundle.
Yep, that's that. Same. Yep. But enough about the niceness of the Shadowrun series. We said goodbye to Hong Kong, and that's 2 rounds gone. And JCS, are you feeling attacked? Because your list has been eliminated the most so far.
Well, it might hurt a little bit more with my super personal list, but I will say I do like all the games on my list, because we voted on a list of over 250, 300 RPGs, then boiled it down to 40, and then for round 2 got down to 12. But the original list of 250, 300 games were all games that I had on my backlog for various reasons. So they're all games that I feel like I should like at the very least if I haven't, so it's all good.
Okay.
You told me not to be salty too, and I believe in following the rules.
Yep. All right. Round 3, Herfrog. The floor is yours.
All right. I'm going to nominate Borderlands.
Ah.
Of the island. I have no affinity with the Borderlands series. I played the first one on my own. I know normally Borderlands you have to play with multiple people because every single thing takes 20,000 years to die. So I didn't like it. It was too bullet spongy for me. When Borderlands 2 came out, they went heavily into like the, in quotations, funny direction, and I didn't think that was very funny. So I jumped off that ship really soon. And speaking about ships, Borderlands, get on it.
Borderlands. You joined Borderlands 3 off the island. Boop.
No, you don't want to stick your save on it?
Nope.
Wow. Drive that bus over.
All right. So the Borderlands series has been completely wiped off of Survivor Island. It's no longer representing itself on here. At JCS, it is your turn.
It's funny. We like, I played a lot of Borderlands solo. We're now playing it multiplayer on Friday nights. I think there's two distinct flavors there, and I enjoyed a lot solo. Been playing through one again. I'm not super sure about super spongy. I guess occasionally they are spongy. I don't know, but I agree with you. The humor is lost on me as well. Let's see here. I'm all about socialism. People who know me know that I'm a huge fan of just equality for everybody, and I can't help but notice that Frog still has more riches than the rest of us. So speaking of things just not clicking, I can't help but feel that Dark Souls. I've been talking a lot about Souls-like games lately because I keep every once a year I try to come back to it and I ask people to help guide me through what makes these things so great and stuff, and give me a game that's gonna jive with me, and they'll recommend something, I'll try it, and then I'll hate it, and I'll try. So Dark Souls, bye-bye, because I keep trying them. It represents all Souls-likes.
It does. It's the one Souls-like on the island.
Yeah, it's the one Souls-like on the island, and you know what? We're gonna send it off to sea so its soul can get lost in the waters.
I love Dark Souls. I hate Dark Souls.
Oh no!
That's my review of Dark Souls. But that's the biggest thing. I really, really enjoy the Dark Souls series. I like the aesthetic. I like how you can, get into the story if you read just behind the scenes, like item descriptions and those kind of things. Sometimes, a lot of times, I just really dislike Dark Souls for beating me to a pulp, and the only thing I can do is take a step back and think, it's my fault. I hate this. It's my fault.
I kind of want to.
So I'm not gonna put my save on Dark Souls. I am going to put it on some other things that I see in chat.
All right.
I will say I agree with your sentiment about the atmosphere. The atmosphere of these games when I do try them out is unparalleled.
Yeah. You just want a difficulty setting.
I just want difficulty. That's all. I hashtag, choices are cool. That would be great.
Yeah, this is the one series I thought I would never be able to get through, but because it was, quote unquote too hard. But I've actually beaten pretty much every Souls-like game that's come out except for Dark Souls 2. So.
Well, I've been
all
trying
the ones that matter.
Yeah, I've been trying to get a consensus from people. What's the easiest Souls-like game for me to give another shot to this year? So Code Vein is kind of in a lead, but if you guys have to contribute, let me know.
So does that mean you're going to get in on some hot chaos action there when it comes out, Scar?
What's that?
Are you going to get in on that hot chaos action when it comes out?
Which game are you talking about?
The Final Fantasy one?
Oh, right. The reimagination of 1. Yeah, I'll try it out. I mean, there is the demo. I still haven't tried that one yet.
I hate chaos.
Yeah. All right. So Dark Souls gets the boot. I'm gonna go right back to Frog's list, and I'm going to nominate Gothic to be eliminated.
Wow. Yeah, try and find it.
I'm trying to find it too.
It's up next to Final Fantasy 9 under Mass Effect 2.
There it is. Yeah. There it goes. Now it's when it's miniaturized, it's hard to see.
I have a special relationship with Gothic. It's so on holiday in Germany, where it was super popular before it was popular anywhere else. I bought a version of Gothic quite cheap, and I had everything in German VO, and it was amazing. I really like Gothic. I know it's not a good game. The combat is absolutely trash, but I really like Gothic. I like the. But yeah, I really want to know the reason why it needs to go on the ship.
Oh, I just haven't played it, so that's why.
Oh, my dear Gothic, farewell.
I'm right there with you, Scar.
It's nothing bad about it. It's just at this point I'm gonna start picking off games that I haven't played. So no save.
No save.
All right,
Save
this
is
Gothic joins Dark Souls. Good boy. Yeet. All right, and Tam, it is your turn.
Well, I have an idea. However, I think it would be a little unfair right now because we just beat up on Frog for quite a bit. So, Scar,
Uh-oh.
I am going to boot off Oblivion.
Oh no.
I think Elder Scrolls is supremely overrated as a video game series, and I mean, Oblivion may have been good when it came out. I've had roommates who played it, and I thought it was just very meh compared to several other games I was seeing at the time. So I think Oblivion, just Elder Scrolls as a whole, is just way overrated as a series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't played Oblivion. This is my brother's favorite Elder Scrolls game, so I put it on the island for him. But I can't really go to bat for it since I haven't played the game. But I've only really played Skyrim as far as the Elder Scrolls games goes.
Wow.
I've not played any. I've seen them all played. My wife loves Elder Scrolls, so I have seen them all played. But it just, to me, they don't look good. They can be very engaging, but open world games and me just don't usually mix. And yeah, this one's getting the boot from me.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't really hook me either. So I certainly wouldn't use a block for something like this. But I will say I did have some fun with Oblivion. I didn't beat it, but with the expansions added in, there was this really fantastic quest I ran into where you have a painter had his magic brush stolen, and it allows people to go inside the paintings. So I had to go in the painting after the thief. And it was very cool and imaginative, the way the pastel colors, they had like a filtering effect to make you really feel like you're inside of a painting. I thought that was very cool and imaginative, and it was just something I just kind of ran into because I was out exploring the world. So I can kind of see the hook for people, but I'm with you. It's never been enough to quite get me hundreds of hours into it like I hear other people do.
Okay, before it gets on the ship, I will say something nice. Oblivion is better than Skyrim. Oblivion.
I've heard.
Oblivion is better than Skyrim. Skyrim. Yeah, basically like Saragoroth or something. But also, this is the game that introduced the Dark Brotherhood quest. Those quests were really good, very cool to do. Nice storyline, some of the better storylines in the Elder Scroll games. Also, you had so many things you could do. Like you had, you could get into the guild, you could get into the arena, and all those kind of things. It was really, really nice to play. The only thing I really didn't like is getting into the Oblivion part of Oblivion, so you had to go into like a hellscape landscape, and that was very annoying and very repetitive. That was really the thing that was like, out. I'm just gonna run around with my horse and shoot people with my magic. That's my, and I put 100 hours in Oblivion. I think I did, and I did not do that with Skyrim. Skyrim for me was at one point was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah,
absolutely done.
now going to what JC said, from what people say, and from what I've seen, the lore of the games is very in depth and very good, and the quest and the actual questing, it's like the quest information and is very neat, but the game itself just looks blah. Like all the gameplay mechanics, all the game, just blah.
Yeah, that it is definitely a weakness, in my opinion, of a lot of the Elder Scrolls games. But as particularly with Oblivion, is that the combat it just never feels very satisfying. It's like the opposite of like a good Dark Souls, right? Where the combat feels very kinetic, and every decision you make during that fight matters. Whereas in Oblivion, it just feels more fake. It's just I feel that.
Maybe that's why they're taking 20 years to create the Elder Scrolls 6 to fix the combat.
That'll hopefully make a new engine.
But yeah, Bethesda, put it on your box. Oblivion, blah.
Blah. You heard it here, folks. The Elder Scrolls series, it's just full of blah.
We're going to get some hate for that one.
All right. Okay, so
Simon says he's pretty sure it'll have the same bad comment, and they'll spend 20 years to fix all the bugs.
No, to make all the bugs.
20 years to make all the bugs, and then they'll never fix them. That's right.
True.
That's the thing that I heard them talk about on the RPG cast today, how they're doing a 10-year anniversary release of Skyrim or something like that. Those bugs are still there.
They are. And especially when Skyrim just came out, that was just horrible.
Well, and here's what's funny, is they're putting in, and this is actually one of the concerns I've been mentioning, is the mods that they're putting in, that these people are creating, may fix some of the bugs, because that's what half the mods are that are made for the games, is to bug fix it. But I'm sure all those people are probably going to get no compensation for any sales of the games.
I see chat already mentioning that Skyrim at release still was more playable than Cyberpunk 2077. That's why Cyberpunk got on the ship first, got on the raft, pushed out.
Yep, nope. Cyberpunk 2077 was one I expected to be yeeted very early on.
If we had a volcano on this island, we could have pushed them in.
No, we've got a skull rock though.
Yeah.
True. It's haunted. It's where Shining Force lives.
Yeah. All right. There goes. That's 3 rounds. So that is 12 games eliminated right now. So let's go ahead and eliminate some more. Herfrog, back to you.
I'm gonna eliminate games that I just haven't played. Beyond the Beyond. I'm going to eliminate Beyond the Beyond.
Beyond the Beyond. Hey, all right. Where are we at over here? There it is. Boom. Anyone want to say anything nice about Beyond the Beyond before it sails away?
You know what? The cover art looks nice. That's nice artwork.
I'll actually say, I did play this. I enjoyed playing it. Do I think it's a great game? No. I threw it on this list as a throwaway.
Yeah. It is like the precursor to the Golden Sun series.
Yeah, so I'll probably at one point I will play it, because I've played almost all the Camelot games now on stream. But no, now it can go away.
Yeah, I put a few on my list that I knew would be strategically gotten rid of, and Beyond the Beyond was one of them.
All right.
I played this. I big brain played this one.
Beyond the Beyond goes to the Beyond, and it's gone from the island. All right, JCS. Yeet. It gets yeeted.
Let's see here. I think I'm going to go. Let's do. Oh, he's already getting tougher now. Let's do Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Oh, hit it where it hurts.
All I keep hearing is how awesome it is, how awesome and great it is, how awesome the greatest story is, but I can't get over MMOs. Every time I've gone into an MMO, I just get bogged down. And when I played Final Fantasy Online, the original, which is the only memory I have, I got talked into doing that a few years after it had been out. I thought the introduction was so good. It was mind-blowing. It was like I was playing a real Final Fantasy game for the first 20 levels. I was the hero out to save the land. It was so exciting. I'm playing with my friends. We're doing a couple of dungeons. But then in the 30s, then MMOism hits. A bunch of fest quests, a bunch of, hey, get to know the people better. Hey, can you help me get that barley out in back of my barn? And there's a couple of small rats. I know you've just saved the world and you're a level 38 hero, but I need your help in killing these rats. And I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm not spending hours doing it, no.
All right.
MMOism. I know, everyone thinks it's a bomb. Feel free to save it if you'd like.
Actually, this was the game I was saving my save for.
Okay. Tam, are you saving Final Fantasy 14?
I'm saving some Final Fantasy 14. It deserves to be on this island. It is very phenomenal game. It it does. JC and I have actually discussed this before about specifically with WoW having that same issue back in Mist of Pandaria, where we would talk about, oh, you're this great hero, and then you're going to these islands and you're doing these stupid quests. And yeah, there are always going to be quests like that in any MMO at all levels of game. But but the main story quests in that treat you as a hero, and they recognize you as a hero, and that's even something WoW doesn't do right. Is WoW is be like, oh, all the player characters are the hero. No, Final Fantasy 14 treats you as the only hero, and everyone else is just an adventuring companion.
I would like to add to that. I played Final Fantasy 14 today, and I was walking through a city, and a big man in a blue chicken costume came up to me, and I cheered him on. And then he opened the trade channel and he traded me a boiled egg. I bowed to him, he bowed to me. I ate the egg. Best experience in an MMO ever? Absolutely. So that's, if you didn't use your save, I would have used my save.
And I was specifically saving the save for Final Fantasy 14. I actually thought you would be the one to boot it off after your comment earlier about MMOs.
There's an excellent video out there, and Asmongold even did a reply video on it about if you have to wait hours to get to the good parts of a game. That's what I kind of feel it is. But I will say, in my time with it, it is one of the most beautiful and MMOs out there, and even to this day, and it has one of the most positive, friendly communities by far, heads and shoulders above Warcraft.
Yeah, and the Golden Saucer's awesome there.
Yeah, I've been I've been meeting several streamers who've just been getting into the game through another streamer I follow, and it's amazing the community. The community. We distracted one of the streamers last night, me and someone else from my main server, who just happened to be watching, and we're showing off mounts, emotes, we're helping them quest in the background. I mean, and in fact, it reminded me of Final Fantasy XI. The first time I logged in on the U.S. release, because it'd been out in Japan, there was a Japanese summoner there who was summoning all the summons.
Yeah, pretty cool. I prefer Final Fantasy XI to Final Fantasy 14, but that's probably just nostalgia. But anyways, speaking of nostalgia, I'm giving nostalgia the boot. Has nothing to do with anything other than I haven't played it.
I've never even heard of it before.
Me neither.
It's a DS game that was sort of throwing back to very early RPGs. I don't think it's a bad game. It's a very traditional RPG. I am not surprised of this one being yeeted. This was another one of those I thought would be yeeted.
Yeah, isn't it hard to get now too?
Probably. I don't know. I own a copy.
Oh, okay. I might have to look that up. So maybe
I own most of the games on here. I own. So yeah.
Yeah.
Bye game.
Bye nostalgia.
You were not nostalgic for most of them.
All right, Tam, it is your turn.
So we've done that. We've mentioned this before about multiples of the same game, and technically we have 3 Final Fantasies. Although Final Fantasy 14 Online being online, a little different. Frog, I love both these games. I do. But I am going to see Final Fantasy 9 go. I think Final Fantasy 6 is better musically.
Wow.
I enjoy the cast of characters a little more than 9. I like the fact that Final Fantasy 6 is probably one of the few RPGs where the villain actually succeeds.
Yeah.
Hashtag
spoilers.
Why do you hate?
I will tell you. I will tell you. Final Fantasy 9 is now probably my second or third favorite Final Fantasy. I would definitely not make it my first, just because I didn't immediately get hooked by it. It took me 3 attempts over a period of like 7 years. I would return back to it every once in a while, but the third time when I finally beat it and stuck with it, I really, really enjoyed it, and it was really, really, really good. And now it's pretty high up there on my list.
Yeah, it's definitely within my top 5. I don't like 6 is my number 1. 4 is very high up there too. 9 is definitely in the top 5, and I do really enjoy 5. I think 6 is the better game.
Final Fantasy 9 is the best PlayStation Final Fantasy there is. It's better than Final Fantasy 7, it's better than Final Fantasy 8. The story of Final Fantasy 9 is really good. Every single character has an arc, and the arc usually is about discovering who you are or discovering your mortality. It's really, really good. Yes, the end boss is really weird, really, what the fuck did you come here for? Sorry, I used my 1F for the stream.
Appreciate it, brother. I'll tell you, somebody's mentioning Final Fantasy Tactics, but I like the story in 9 better than Tactics.
Tactics is not main line Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but even if I was accounted, for me personally, I think the story in 9 is much more emotionally moving.
Yeah,
that's the way I judge stories.
I would have made the save for Final Fantasy 9 if they would have given us Beatrix over Amarant, because he is just you.
He also has the same story, as in he's trying to discover who he is. He has this weird, rivalry between him and Zidane, and Zidane really doesn't see that rivalry, and he's just like, yeah, whatever, what, and that's all this. Like that's Quina. Quina is just Quina, just Quina. But I'm not going to use my save for this.
All right.
I did want to give it a proper send-off before. Wow, Final Fantasy 9. I see so many games I want to kick off first before I would actually get to Final Fantasy 9. All right.
Well, you know what? You get your chance because it is right back to your turn.
All right, Lufia 1.
Oh, all right.
Lufia 1. Why didn't you put Lufia 2 on there? Lufia 2 is the better Lufia.
I cannot argue that. Lufia 1 was a good basis for a series, but it was very basic. In fact, it had an issue with the combat that other game companies had already resolved in the NES era when this released on SNES. And that is the fact that once you targeted something and it died, you would auto move to another target. Lufia 1 still had it where it would not move to another target.
Yeah, it had the Final Fantasy 1 targeting system.
Yeah, well, it's Final Fantasy 1 and other early RPGs, but many other RPGs had already solved that issue way before Lufia 1.
Even Golden Sun still did it.
Yeah, but look how cool that artwork is. Doesn't that artwork look cool?
Lufia 2 is the better one. And you didn't put it in there, so Lufia 1 can, go to Atlantis. Bye-bye.
Alright. Bye, Lufia 1. I tried.
I'm not here to make friends. That's what they normally say on these games, right? I'm not here to make friends.
I'm here to have good discussions about RPGs.
All right. So Lufia 1 is the latest game we're in. I think we're in round 5 now. So go ahead, JCS. Bring out the next game to be eliminated.
Let's do. Oh yeah, we can't do that. No, we can't do that one either. Oh my gosh, you guys make this so hard now. Wow, these are all really pretty good games on here.
Yeah, we're getting down to, like, I purposely threw in some games that I knew would be trash. And
Sorry, I see the chat. Kill one of your own.
Finish him. Let's finish off this long tale that I'm dragging out by sending it to its destiny. Tales of Destiny.
Tales of Destiny.
I was debating that one. I mean, Tales of Destiny. I mean, very early Tales game. Not necessarily a great game considered now. I think it had one of the most interesting uses of the overworld because you hardly ever was on the overworld.
Okay.
You almost always were in like town to dungeon to town. It was very, very few times where you actually would walk the overworld in Tales of Destiny from what I remember of playing it.
I got nothing.
Use your safe.
I got nothing for you, Tales of Destiny. I wanted to see how long it would last on here. I've been enjoying the remastered version of Tales of Destiny, but the original PlayStation 1 version, while it is very expensive nowadays, it is also a sinking ship, and
It's expensive?
Yes, Tales of Destiny. Very expensive.
Okay, I own it.
Okay, alright. It is now my turn.
Yeah, at this point, there's not a JRPG that is still remaining that I don't actually own a physical copy of.
Alright, Hands of Fate. I haven't played you, so you are the next one on the way out.
Yes, since no one's speaking up. The Hands of Fate games are really kind of cool and interesting. You haven't checked them out. You got this guy who deals these cards, and it's almost like a dungeon master who's sitting there that's folding out a story in front of you. You make some choices, and there's usually dice that are rolled to determine some of these results. But there's also times where you get into a fight, and then it turns into more of a third-person, action combat system. And that system is not really great in and of itself. But the RPG behind it and stuff, and the way it feels kind of done on the fly, is pretty cool, and it's very neat, and that's why it ranks so high on our list. But I won't use a save for it.
All right, Hands of Fate, go to the bottom of the ocean. You are gone. Okay, and last one in round 5. Tam, go ahead. Make your selection.
Planescape Torment.
Oh, wow.
Why?
I don't know, you tell me, I have never played it.
There are so many other games on this list. And you decided to go after Planescape Torment? Okay, Planescape Torment gets my save.
Okay, we got to save, folks.
Planescape Torment is in the same vein as a Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, but it's in the Planescape universe, and everything in Planescape is weird. There's a huge emphasis on talking your way out of things, more on the characters. I really like Planescape Torment. I like the whole atmosphere. It's really different from like the Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, the ones that are very fantasy, as in very almost Tolkien fantasy. And Planescape is just weird and has an amazing cast of characters and an amazing story. So I'm gonna save it because of that.
Yeah, the story in that game is just really, really deep and asks some very provocative questions about life, death, existence, and what it truly means to live. If you haven't experienced, you really owe it to yourself. It's very well written, and there's a lot to read, so it's good that it's well written. I think it's like 60,000 words or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just an absolute classic, and I think you can get through the entire game without even fighting if you're really careful. So that's another thing.
All right.
It's
Wow.
a real true role-playing gem.
Yeah. I want to play it. I just haven't come around to it yet. I've heard a lot of good things about Planescape Torment.
No, and I've heard a lot of good things as well. I own it through either GOG or Steam. I don't know where. But again, it's just not a game I played. It actually completely flew under my radar when it released, and I never even heard of it until like just a few years ago.
So the problem's not with the game; it's with you.
Never said it wasn't.
Okay.
All right. Next round. We're in round 6. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty, folks. Frog, it is back to you.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what I want to throw under a bus. Let's go for Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
I was wondering how long this one would survive, because I wanted to see how long it would survive with the just Final Fantasy Tactics name. But it's not the real good Final Fantasy Tactics. It's Advance.
It's Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and it is incredibly slow.
Yeah, and the judges were annoying.
Oh, the judges were super annoying. That's one of the things that I really found when I started to replay this one. I'm like, oh, I remember Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Let's try it again. And then I was like, why is everything so slow?
I will say the only time I beat it was when I found a hack that removed the judging system.
Yeah, that seems like the best way to play it.
Like, the actual story and characters are fairly good, and the gameplay is not bad. I like the class system. It introduced a lot of new races to the world of Final Fantasy, like the Vera and such, and you could have Moogle party members, which was amazing. But as far as like I think the judge system was the one aspect of the game that really held it back from being a good game. It made it challenging, but especially when you get late into the game where you have like 3 or 4 different walls you have to follow per every single combat, it got too complex with the law system, and I think that was yeah. But as far as the game itself, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Once I got rid of the law system.
Yeah. All right.
I am the law.
Yep. I wasn't gonna make any grand save for Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. It was just kind of a funny game I thought I would put on the island, but it is gone now, and now it is Jason Servant's turn.
We're gonna go with Robo Trek.
Oh.
We're gonna send it on its own little trek out into the ocean. I played it and I enjoyed it, but I like how it's like another great.
Yeah, but it says another great RPG on the box.
Another one? Wow.
But it's not like the best RPG ever made by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't deserve to be on the same island with Planescape Torment.
You know, I'm honestly surprised it made it this far. Robotrek is definitely not a great RPG. It's a fun RPG. It is fun. It is silly. You can have robots that have lasers and hover, and the story is ridiculous. But do I personally think it's a truly great RPG? No, but I will say I enjoyed it. It's a fun one, and I have fond memories of it. But yeah, no, this was definitely one I thought would be thrown off very early on, and I'm surprised it lasted this long.
Yeah, I played it back in the day. I do have it on my list of games to add to my retro SNES RPG wheel, so it will show back up on the channel at some point. It's just not gonna stay on this island. Yeet! All right. Oh, now it is my turn. All right. All right. We're gonna go and say goodbye to Wasteland 2. The director's cut.
You're gonna say why?
Oh, because I haven't played it. That's it. That's it.
Wow, you and Tam. Wow. The game's really, really great. If you guys haven't checked it out, Wasteland 2 is really a great, is a crowd-funded type of thing. They did a really great job with it. You got this big, open world kind of done right with a real, at the same time, a good story-driven main quest line to go along with it. It's tactical turn-based combat. You build your party from scratch for the most part, and you make some really tough decisions on how you level them up and tackle the challenges of this wasteland. And it's just really, really cool. Voice acting, everything is just really top notch. And this game can't recommend it enough, and that's why it's on our list. And we will be playing it at the RPG XP Club. And since you haven't played it, I suggest you join us.
It's a better Fallout.
Okay. All right.
If you like Fallout 1 or Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics,
I'll have to check it
go for
out.
Wasteland.
Yeah. All right. I will check it out. But it is also getting the checkout from RPG Survivor Island. Whoop. All right, Tam. Finish it off in this round for us.
Ooh. Wow. What's sad is most of what's left is stuff I've played and or liked.
You can also boot off your own games.
This is true.
True. But there's only one game on my list that I don't like.
But Final Fantasy 14. I can get rid of it.
I said one I don't like. I love Final Fantasy 14. I stream it here sometimes. Because I'm curious how many people do or do not like it. Save it.
Go for it.
JC, I'm sorry. I mean, I've never really played a lot of PC games, so right now, PC games are kind of on my chopping block. I'm going to yeet out Shadowrun Dragonfall.
Yeah, I've already kind of talked about what makes the Shadowrun games really good and stuff, and why people should check them out. So I won't badge you all with the same thing I just said earlier with the last Shadowrun game. I can't remember which one of the two are a little bit better, but they're both the games on this list are very, very good. And if you'd like to play them with us, we'll be playing them later on in the year.
I'm definitely interested in maybe trying them, and I'm glad I got that GOG bundle that when it was offered. It just, I will admit, when growing up, most of the JRPGs, most of the RPGs I played were JRPGs. I didn't play a lot of the really old computer RPGs, except for the Go Box games and.
Shadowrun games are a return to
quite recent.
Yeah, but they're very recent. They're in the last, all of them are within the last 7 years, 10 years tops.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Some is only like a year or two old. No, they're recent games. It's just that they're the original Shadowrun video games, of course, date back to the 90s. But that's why it's called Shadowrun Returns. They're revisiting. It's not even a remaster. It's a whole new game, but it's set in that universe. So I recommend people check out if you haven't checked them out. They're really nice games. It's worth dipping your toe into, at least giving the second or third shot and see if it grabs you.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in and thinking that we're doing this out of spite for games, no, we definitely love the games. It's just not all of us played stuff. We're
Next time we can have a theme, so we can make sure that we can get rid of all the JRPG people. I mean.
No shining force from you, Frog.
I know. I already used my save, so it's open.
Yep. Frog and
That's so
Tam's lists
incredible.
are wide open because they've made their saves. Me and JCS are holding on to it for dear life. All right, well, Frog, it's back to you. We are in round 7 of the eliminations. We've got one more round after this, and then it's it. Game's over.
All right. I'm going to eliminate Super Robot Wars OG.
Ooh, a good game.
Mainly because I haven't played it, so I have no absolutely nostalgia for it or any feelings about it except for bye.
You know what? I am proud that Super Robot Wars original generation lasted this long. You know, Super Robot Wars is a strategy RPG series, has had very limited release in the US, and it is one of the longest entried game series in Japan with over 40 entries. And I am just glad to see that it had lasted this long on this island.
Yeah, you know how people say Persona 5 is flashy? The Super Robot Wars series is flashy, like to the max, basically. All the battles, you know, they take place between either the original created robots, or sometimes they've got robots from different animes and other properties, and they just have all these beautiful animations and lots of explosions and cool graphics and giant swords and big mechs, and the stories can get kind of crazy, especially when they throw in like 30 different properties all trying to do something. But yeah, I randomly picked this game up at a GameStop. It was there. It had, you know, a box that said RPG on there, so I gave it a shot, and I fell in love with this series and started playing them religiously after that.
Yeah, I happened to just run across. I was big into anime in high school. I happened to run across Super Robot Wars 2G, which is actually remaster of Super Robot Wars 2 from the NES and Super Robot Wars 2G was for the Game Boy. I just happened to run across it online, played it, and just found did I do very well? No, but I will tell you, I know those Japanese words for attack and turn and yes and no when I read them because of Super Robot Wars.
Nice
Alright,
little story.
Do you want to use your save for this one?
No. There's a couple games that I'm saving my save for. So I was thinking about it, but I'm not. So Super Robot Wars, it gets the boot, and now it's JC Servant's turn.
Have I mentioned that I'm not the biggest fan of MMOs?
You mentioned
There's
it.
still one on the list. Aside from the one I can't touch anymore, there's another one on the list. Get rid of it. Send it on its own quest out in the ocean. Dragon Quest 11.
That's not an MMO.
Isn't that?
No, 10 is the MMO.
I will get rid of it anyways. It offends me.
Wow. Man. Dragon Quest 11 is a fantastic game. Oh man.
My save. I can't use my save. I already used my save.
Oh man.
Hard here.
I'm conflicted.
And I wasn't impressed with Dragon Quest 8, unlike most other people, so this one's guilty by association.
Dragon Quest 11 is actually quite a good Dragon Quest game. Yes, it overstays its welcome in the long run because it really gets on and on and on with a game after the game, but it's really good. It's really good.
It's also considered the precursor to every other Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
I can't save it. I want to save it, but I'm not going to save it. I'm gonna hold on to my save, and we're gonna say goodbye to one of the better RPGs on this island. Dragon Quest 11 gets the boot. Wow, a shocker.
Gloves are off.
Gloves are off, which means it's
we're down to some really great tier games at this point.
Speaking of having the gloves off, I'm knocking off Qatar next. Just because I haven't played it.
That's so wrong.
It is so wrong.
It's a really, really great classical, classic game. I mean, it's just done so well. It's BioWare, and it really shows BioWare's polish. And it's a great length game too. It's like 20, 25 hours. I'm so tired of RPGs that just go on way too long. It's just well written, lots of fun to play, and it was really ahead of its time, in my opinion. Still not saving it.
Still not saving it. All right.
I think I know which one he's saving his save for.
Okay. All right. Well, we are saying goodbye to the Knights of the Old Republic. I don't think they can swim, and they've been booted off the island. All right, Tam, go ahead and finish out this round. Tam is on you.
I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're down to the nitty gritty, and some of these are so good.
But some of them are not that good.
Most of them are pretty good. Like, I've played Chrono Trigger. I've played Shining Force 2. I've played Final Fantasy 6. I already tried booting off Planescape. I've played Suikoden 2. I've beaten Chrono Trigger, Shining Force 2, Final Fantasy 6, Suikoden 2, Persona 4. I saw Paul's play Felseal, and that game looked amazing. I have gotten very far in Wild Arms 5. I've beaten Mass Effect 2 who knows how many times. I've beaten Disgaea 4. I love Wild Arms 5 and Persona 4.
Don't look at chat. Don't be influenced by chat.
No, I'm not. Saban is a man who can't even decide what game to play.
Yep, it's all fun and games till we get down to the last couple of games on the island.
So I mean, there's a lot of good games. I think I will go with it. I think this is the one JC's been saving his save for. I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 50% sure. I am booting Wizardry 8.
Oh.
And you're correct.
Oh. It did not. It has a flotation device and it found its way back onto the island.
Wizardry 8 is objectively the best game. No, I'm just kidding. It's probably objective. Well, maybe not objective is the right word, but it is highly hailed as probably the best blobber and dungeon crawling game on the PC, bar none, and probably even if you include consoles. In our ratings that we did, over 250 of the best RPGs, it ranked number 1 of the club.
Yeah, I played some of the old Wizardry games. I was never a big fan of them, so...
The old ones don't even belong in the same class as number 8. You can't judge this one because it was made 10 years later, I think, or 5 years later after Wizardry 7. Totally different engine. The combat system is so far ahead of its time that the other Wizardry games, after Sir Tech sold out, the other companies went back to like older systems with new graphics and stuff and whatever have you, and it feels like such a step back. Like 8 is, remember, 20 years later, despite its old graphics, despite everything else, as having the best combat character growth system of these things. And that's despite its flaws. It's considered the best game, and it does have flaws. It's a bit deliberately paced. There's some of that old dungeon jankiness. But yeah, it's just amazing. The combat, for example, the enemies can actually surround you, which is different for a blobber because usually just right in front of you with ranges. Here they can actually surround your party, and you can put your party members to cover different quadrants, like shields on the Enterprise. You're going to cover your flanks and your rear, and you actually position your party members in a circle around your central wizards, who are the most squishy, to protect them. And you're constantly shifting those guys around as the enemies shift around, or you have party members who fall. it is just so strategic and tactical and satisfying when you come out of a battle where you were surrounded and you were able to pick them apart and come out, in one piece. It is so satisfying. You guys know I don't like to finish games. I especially don't like to finish long games. I especially don't like to finish long RPGs with puzzles. I beat this game because it's just that good.
All right, and it is saved.
As I said, I knew this was the game he was saving that save for.
All right. Well, that is 7 rounds down the drain. We are at, I believe, 15 games left. And
we have 1 save left from you, Scott.
And we still have 1 save from me. So we're gonna go ahead and do this round. We might do another round if we want to get it under 10. Let's see it. Let's see how it goes. But go ahead, Frog, and grab a game to toss off the island.
Ogre Battle 64.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
All
I
right.
haven't played Ogre Battle 64.
Not many people have.
I hate you, but only because. All right, I like you. I hate this decision you've just made, but only because I was going to do.
Oh, wow.
I was really thinking about either Ogre Battle 64 or Mass Effect 2.
Oh, wow. Mass Effect 2? What did Mass Effect 2 ever do to you?
Well, I like Mass Effect 1 better than Mass Effect 2. I'm one of those weirdos.
Really?
I have Ogre Battle 64. I had it on the Nintendo 64. I loved the original Ogre Battle on the Super Nintendo, so I bought it on the 64. And then when it re-released on the Wii, through the Wii Shop or whatever, I bought it there as well. Here's the thing. I've actually never beaten it. In fact, I've never gotten very far in it because it didn't hook me the way the original Ogre Battle did. I think it's kind of looked on a bit nostalgic because of its predecessor, but it doesn't quite hook you in as quickly and as fast. I'm not saying it isn't as good of a game because I never played it all the way through, but it doesn't really hook. So if I have to play a game 5, 10, 20 hours to get to the good bits before it starts to get fun, maybe it shouldn't be on the island.
Yeah, we'll see if this dragon can swim because there's a lot of fire around it, but got the boot and it goes bye-bye.
Sabin says it's also on the N64, so it's mostly just gray fog.
Oh.
True, very true.
All right, JCS, you don't get to choose Ogre Battle again. It's already been eliminated, so you got to pick a new game.
Well, actually, if I try to look at the glass half full, then Frog did me a favor, so I should do him one back, and I'm going to go with Mass Effect 2.
Mass Effect? What?
Yeah, I know. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. We've said this. I'll say this again. If you have to play a game a long time to get to the good parts, then it's not such a great game. And the thing is with Mass Effect 2, I just can't help but feel I have to play Mass Effect 1 before I give it a shot. I know it's got a great story. Everyone's told me how great Mass Effect 2 story is, but that compels me before I give it a shot to go play Mass Effect 1. And I don't like Mass Effect 1. Every time I try to play Mass Effect 1, I've tried it 3 times now. I get like halfway through and some stupid shenanigans. I get a little bit further each time. One day I'll probably beat it. So Mass Effect 2 is guilty by association. Sorry. If it was like its own standalone title that you could play and thoroughly enjoy and not feel like you're missing a whole bunch of playing Mass Effect 1, I would probably feel a little differently. It is a problem with me. I'm a broken person. I told you that. Yeah.
I love this. This hurts people. I love that this decision hurts people.
Yeah,
I like Sabin's take on it. He's the opposite of me. I think Mass Effect 2's biggest problem is Mass Effect 1. He says it's actually Mass Effect 3 is ME32's biggest problem.
All right. I'm
Mass Effect.
You still have a save.
I'm not saving it.
Okay, looks like you're saving it for Wild because that's the only one left.
Says you. I'm booting Wild Arms 5 from the island. Oh, how about that? It doesn't deserve to be on this island.
You're booting your own game.
I'm booting my own game.
Oh, it's the reverse card in Uno. What's going on?
He's still super confused in what you were saving your save for.
Oh, wow.
He's booting himself off the island.
Screw this island, guys. I'm going home. All right, no more games left on my list.
On this island that he won more than anything on his list.
Yeah, I didn't have any personal like attachments to any of my games, just so you guys know. So I chose some of the black sheep of some of the series, and then I thought Mass Effect 2 would definitely stay. I'm surprised it got booted, but yeah.
I saved it.
I could have, but I didn't, because there's some other games that other people put that I want to save. So if they get nominated, go ahead, Tam. We're gonna get this list underneath 10. So we're gonna do one more round after this. So you get one, and then we're gonna do one final round. So go ahead.
So interestingly enough, you just highlighted the one I'm going to boot, which is Baldur's Gate.
Okay, so Tam follows suit and eliminates one of his own games too. Baldur's Gate.
I hate Baldur's Gate. I absolutely have this hate. The amount of times where I have started this, and started this, just to leave the town and die the very next screen over, fills me with so much rage. It is almost undefinable.
It hasn't. Did you put it on super easy? Because it does have difficulty. It's like, just gonna put that out there.
The enhanced editions have story mode. Yeah.
So I will.
He just grabbed the image for the enhanced edition. I'm talking the original Baldur's Gate.
In the original
So
one
I
had
just
some.
hate Baldur's Gate. I will not play Baldur's Gate. Haven't played Baldur's Gate 2. I owned all of it back on the original CDs when it was a 6 CD set to play Baldur's Gate. I still have not played it.
Well, looks to me you're just a hater.
All right, so it does. I would recommend people, if you're struggling with the combat, there are definitely easier difficulties to pick but I will say I did not save my save for Baldur's Gate, and I wouldn't have used it if I had it, and someone had voted earlier. And it's for the exact same reason I saved Wizardry 8, and it goes back to the combat. I'll agree with you. I'm not a fan of Baldur's Gate combat. I love D&D combat, and anyone who's listened to any of my podcasts, my streams, and everything knows that I love D&D combat. But Baldur's Gate doesn't do it right with the pause and play thing. It drives me insane. It's so easy to die. It's so easy for something to go jank. It's so easy for the AI to run your heroes into the wrong part of the fight, and then they get hit by their own wizard fireball. It's not a good combat. It's not a great combat system. Maybe it's good, but it's definitely not great. So no. At the end of the day, for me, RPGs, I love the story, and story's super important, but it has to have a good battle system be on this island, and Baldur's Gate doesn't have it. C'est la vie.
All right. Goodbye, Baldur's Gate. Any addition, you are booted off the island. We've still got over 10 games, so I actually wanted to get this list under 10. I didn't take into account the saves, keeping the list over 10. So we're gonna add one final round of eliminations just to make this as hard as possible for everyone. So, Herfrog, the last elimination for you, my friend, is
Troubleshooter.
Oh, that was the one. I was gonna do that one. Darn.
Sorry, I haven't played Troubleshooter. I was trying to first eliminate everything that I just hated, but now I'm getting into the territory that I haven't played it. So you can't use your save anymore. Well, Scar can save it, but I already hit it. He doesn't want to.
I wouldn't save it because I haven't played it that far into it, but it is on the list for a couple of reasons. The club picked it, and I have played it somewhat, and I wouldn't have put it on the list if I didn't agree, at least that it's a really good game. I have played it enough to know that it starts out really good. So imagine XCOM meets Persona meets a well-written visual novel.
That sounds great.
Troubleshooter. And on top of that, when I say the XCOM, don't forget all parts of XCOM, not just the cover-based tactical combat system, but you're also going to have like the base building and things like that. Theirs is more about, building up your team and building up your headquarters. But it still gives you kind of like that same vibe that there's a lot of work you do in between fights to prepare for the next fight. And you're keeping an eye, instead of keeping an eye on your countries, you're keeping an eye on the city blocks. The game, and then, I have a lot of friends who, generally speaking, won't touch a game like XCOM, and the such because they feel like it's too Western. And I'm like, you need to check out Troubleshooter because it is JRPG though through and through. Instead of relying totally on guns and machine guns and rocket launchers, you've got cool Persona-like powers, like making a fireball appear and then high kicking it into the air, towards the enemy and smack him in the face. Sabin says one of the guys uses breakdancing to attack. So it is really, really cool, and it's really, really awesome, and it's got a very positive story to it, at least for the parts I played. So I would highly recommend, and it's so good that one of our frequent visitors to my stream has put over 300 hours into it.
Wow.
So I can highly recommend it. And if you haven't checked it out and you would like to play along with us, we actually have it on our RPG XP Club list as well as along with every other game you see on this list. So you can feel free to come and join us, find out more at rpgamer.com/Discord. Raise your hand and I will introduce you to our club.
Oh.
Okay, she can get on the ship, but she can leave her number.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, we are down to some pretty good games on this list. It's gonna be kind of hard to make some selections. Her Frog got the one I was gonna eliminate, so that's gonna make my decision a little bit harder. JCS, what do you say?
Well, as you can tell with my list, I do love my Western RPGs, but the fact that I haven't picked on some of Her Frog's list lets you know that I also love quite a number of JRPGs. But I eventually got to start picking on them because the pickings are getting so slim, and I can't touch 14 again. I like Disgaea 4 way too much to touch that one. Persona 4, just love that one to death. I'm going to have to pick on Chrono Trigger.
Ow.
I love Final Fantasy 6. I love Shining Force 2 too much, Frog. I really, really do. Suikoden 2, 100 characters. It makes you care about most of them. It's really good. Planescape Torment, you know how I feel about that. Chrono Trigger is really, really good. But in the world of all these really super great games, it lacks a little certain je ne sais quoi that is needed to stay on this island of elites for me. So I have to use a combo attack here and fire it off the island.
Yeah, I can't use my save, and you are booting off Chrono Trigger from the person that calls himself Frog on the internet. Awesome, great. It's like double stab in the back. Thanks. I'm now like in the middle of the sea, just drowning. Thanks.
What?
Oh, okay.
And I think part of my feeling on this is I did try to go. So I did play it when it originally came out, and I liked it quite a bit, but not enough to do a replay of. Even though it's on the shorter side, compared to most others. When it came out on a 3DS or something, I gave it another shot, and it didn't quite, even with the nostalgia factor, it didn't quite click with me. As opposed to, let's say, like Final Fantasy VI, I recently did a replay of that and was hooked all the way till the end, and still had a lot of warm fuzzies and stuff. Chrono Trigger doesn't quite have that emotional connection for me that some of the other games on your list do.
Wow. Okay. Well, I've saved my save to the last round, and we are not allowing Chrono Trigger to leave this island before Wizardry 8.
Thank you.
So there's my save. Chrono Trigger, you survive at least one more round. Technically, Tam could get rid of it if he wanted. I certainly won't, since I just saved it.
I will say that, like, Frog, I had no idea what game Frog was going to save. I will admit that. I knew JC was going to save Wizardry 8. Scar, I knew that it had to be one of two games you would save, which would have either been Chrono Trigger or Suikoden 2.
Yeah.
Mine should have been painfully obvious to everybody.
Yeah, I was definitely waiting to see if someone was going to boot Suikoden 2. That's what I was saving my save for. But since we're in the final round, I'm going to hope Tam doesn't eliminate Suikoden 2. But yeah, I chose to save Chrono Trigger. It is now my turn, and there's only two games on this list that I haven't played, which would be Wizardry 8 and Planescape Torment, and I've heard high praise for Planescape, so unfortunately, JCS, I'm giving Wizardry 8 the boot.
Over Fell Seal?
Yeah, I've played Fell Seal. I like Fell Seal.
Was it great?
I mean, it doesn't have. It doesn't. It's not about whether if it was great or not. It was. I enjoyed my time with Fell Seal. I haven't played Wizardry 8 at all, so.
I feel like some, yeah, and I'm guilty of this myself. So I'm pointing fingers back at myself. But I do feel like a lot of this comes down to, oh, well, we haven't played it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I mean, that's exactly what I prefaced it with. Is I haven't played a lot of the games that I've eliminated were games that I haven't played yet. So it has nothing to do with the game. The game might be great. I haven't been able to get into the RPG XP game logs yet because I've just been bogged down with my own games. But you have mentioned all this high praise of the game. It has nothing to do with whether the game is good or bad. It's just that I haven't touched it yet. So unfortunately, because of that, I had to say goodbye.
Wow.
And that means we have one last elimination. Tam, you can go ahead and send us off. We're going to be leaving the island with 8 games because math is hard, and I forgot that it's not. We don't get a nice round number if we have four people making eliminations.
Don't listen to chat. Don't listen to chat.
This is tough.
It is.
I mean, the only one I personally would love to boot is playing Save Torment, which has already been saved, and I can't touch it. So this comes down to pretty much games I have played and beaten except for Fell Seal, but I love me strategy RPGs. This is a very tough choice.
You love strategy RPGs, but you really hate Baldur's Gate and you want to kill Planescape Torment. No, I know what's going on. I
mean, I love Persona 4, I love Suikoden 2, I love Final Fantasy 6, I love Shining Force 2, I love Chrono Trigger. From what I saw of Fell Seal, it is a beautiful, well-made game with a very involved story, great characterization. Because I watched Paul's RPG play here on twitch.tv/RPGamer. I love Disgaea 4 Sardines. And of course, I am not going to get rid of Final Fantasy 14 because I saved Final Fantasy 14. This is a very hard choice.
Yeah, what's gonna be? I love it.
And cut this tension with a knife.
Yes, we have to have music for this.
Right.
Very high tension music. And the voiceover. This is Tam's final decision, the final decision of this round, and also the final decision of the island. Any decision he can make now can change the game completely. We'll see what he's gonna do. We'll wait.
Oh. Airfog, I'm sorry. Shining Force 2.
Oh, it lasted all the way till the end. Oh no.
It is a good game. It has some wonderful moments in it, but I think it falls into the same issue that Beyond the Beyond has with some of its writing, is that the writing is still it's not very involved. It's a very basic storyline. It's very basic writing. I love the game. I beat this game. I never grew up with a Sega. I beat this game in like 2002, and I loved it. I love Rai. I love Peter the Phoenix. I love all this. I love the game, but as far as like stories go, it's compared to a lot of these games that are left, the story is a very young story.
Let it be known that Tam killed Shining Force 2 over Fell Seal. I will be the one that will tell Shining Force Advisor, someone who comes into my chat every single time I play Shining Force, I will tell him that what you did, Tam, I don't have a save anymore. I do think I use my save on the right time, because I do think Planescape Torment has a place on this island. Okay, I'm sorry, Shining Force 2. I did my best.
I will admit I do feel bad because I do love Shining Force 2, but as far as stories go, I don't think it can hold up as well to Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VI. Definitely not Suikoden 2. Persona 4 may be a little hokey, but it is it's a fun game. It's a fun game, and the characters really interacted well with each other. Fell Seal is very deep game, both story and gameplay. Final Fantasy 14, we know I love. I'm not. No comment. And Disgaea 4, had very serious moments and moments that were completely silly, and it played so well, and it's just, yeah. You put Shining Force 2 in the survivors.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay. So I feel bad for that choice, Fog. I really do.
I don't care. It's good. I like when we got into the 10 games now, or 8 games, right? And we knew that at the last point it would be. I was not expecting Shining Force to survive that.
Disgaea 4. I'm honestly surprised Disgaea 4 was not touched by anybody.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time with Disgaea 4. All these games I have played except for Planescape, and I've heard so much high praise about that game. So when it was down to that and Wizardry 8, the only time I've heard the high praise of Wizardry 8 has just been recently, in our Discord channel. So
Disgaea 4 is my favorite Disgaea. I've actually beaten every Disgaea from that game and before. I haven't quite gotten through 5 yet, but 4 was for me was the pinnacle because the story was more mature than the previous ones. I'm so tired of I'm not the Overlord's son, and I'm just kind of over the whole trope and stuff. So Adol and 2 was okay. He was obviously a little bit different, but yeah, the more mature Valvatorez and the way the other characters, Fucha and stuff, bounced off of him, I thought was really well done. So, and the combat is really good, and grinding, and working out the rules and stuff. Yeah, Wizardry 8, you're right. You don't hear a whole lot about it. It's just lately with the club. And I'm being at RPGamer, I realize I'm not exactly surrounded by more Western style or PC gamer enthusiasts. It's mostly JRPG console players that we have there. So I was actually, honestly, very shocked and surprised with the club. And granted, most of those people are people who joined on because they heard the backtrack or they're watching my stream or something. But still, it's a mixed group of it, and I was pretty shocked that it had hit number 1, much less even just made it to the final round of voting with us.
All right.
So I got a vote in that, so that didn't hurt.
Well, there we go. That was a test run of RPGamer's Survivor Island. We had 40 RPGs we started with. We ended with 8. The Survivors, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Planescape Torment, Suikoden 2, Persona 4, Fell Seal, Final Fantasy 14, and Disgaea 4. So yeah. What'd you guys think?